Hello, future viewers. Welcome. To give us another piece of gaming history, I've decided to do this video in Virtual Boy colors.
You do realize that YouTube automatically demonetizes Virtual Boy content.
Stone of Triumph, it's not real history, and it doesn't burn the retinas of the viewers.
Better safe than sorry.
Okay, fine. Fine, you stupid whiner who whines about things. I'll switch it. Hello, future viewers, and welcome back to Lunar Chase in an ordinary, non-historical, and I suppose non-damaging type of color scheme. Fine. Alright. Well, we'll join the game in the way intended, which is after coming back to the game after playing a little bit, as happens with a portable game. You use some stars that you earned throughout the game to come back to a particular mission. The later the mission is, the more stars you spend. Anyways. They observed the nuclear rods that we delivered and decided to undeliver them. Oh hey, is that an ornithopter? Well, the Dune ornithopters probably look different from that, but still, pretty cool. Kinda wonder why they sound like actual birds, though. And yep, this is our first instance of air-to-air combat. Oh, that's just plain unnecessary. Don't follow those instructions. You can harm the gliders with lasers just fine, and it's actually pretty inconvenient to bring the lock-on capability with you. In fact, in the Japanese version, the instructions outright tell you that you can use the jetpack to make this mission easier, because it lets you take off wherever you need. It feels so comfy and nostalgic to come back to this wonderful frame rate here. One of the quality of life things that I'm glad they added is that in this mission you get an arrow pointing to the next glider from really far away. Yeah, your detection range is excellent in this mission. Also, you may have noticed that when you continue from closing the game or getting killed, you start with your default supplies, which are, ouch, careful when you bump into those things, I guess, 1 unit of fuel and 0 missiles. The one missile I have was from the supply base. You do at least get all of your shields back regardless of how you ended the mission, the previous mission. Or current one, depending on how things went. Anyway, in addition to the gliders that have stolen the rods and are your targets, there's also some offensive gliders who attack you both when you're on the ground and in the air. They are less durable than the thief gliders, but they will dogfight you, and you're not great at dogfighting in your tank. So that's something to bear in mind. And situations like this are where the jetpack is great. Oh, well that was lucky. In general, to catch these birds, it's pretty nice to have them fly overhead or nearby or some such while you're on the ground, so you can put together a good strafing run from behind. Like that's the sort of thing I'm doing right now. Moving nice and slow, but staying in roughly the correct direction, so when I've got the right distance, I have plenty of time to shoot it before I move past the target. It does take a few, but with a good angle and distance, it's not that difficult. Speaking of difficulty, my understanding is that the original game reviews for X praised it for its technical capabilities, which I agree with, especially for the Game Boy, but also described the game as being too difficult. So I guess the question I have from that is game journalism syndrome a thing that is older than I thought? Like, I can't emphasize enough that this is the original Game Boy days. So perhaps it's just better known now than it was back then. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some things in this game that will kind of put your life in danger. Your tank's life, not use a player. It's not that hardcore. But anyway, there's certainly ways you can lose. I wouldn't call it unreasonable difficulty though. And here I was just trying to see if I actually could shoot one of those down. That's nice. I wonder why those things drop missiles sometimes. Anyway, one of the things that I should do while I'm here, since I did start with no supplies, is to take the tunnel wherever I need to take it. And restock those missiles, because getting a full set of missiles is kind of a pain. And before I do that, I should check the radio station so that I know where to come out after taking the tunnel system. Area 2, huh? It's not that difficult to figure out once you understand that the top left area is Area 0. Also, I should probably learn the difference between west and east. Also, traveling on the ground is actually kind of risky right now, because enemy gliders are kind of tough to outpace, and while their accuracy isn't great, so long as you keep moving, it can cause some problems if you ever have to slow down. I wonder how long this game takes if you skip the mission descriptions and also don't continue from a restart so you never lose your supplies. That seems like it would be a fun thing to try out. Oh, speaking of things to try out, I found out a little bit more about the game's sequel. It's called Escape, and it is for, as I said, the DSi. The problem with the DSi is, while I probably can get the game, that is because I have a 3DS. Those games are apparently notoriously difficult to emulate and thus to easily record. So even if I can get my hands in the game, which I admit is fairly likely, I'd also have to figure out how I could capture it for the interest of my viewers. I'm perfectly willing to do it, if I can. It will take some research and possibly ordering some kind of cable. I'll have to see. Oh, how did I not get that fuel? That's disappointing. Oh, quite a few of the ground enemies, by the way, are kind of standard tanks that drop fuel when killed. That's the... Oh, yeah, and while we're here, I mentioned coin blocks. Turns out they're not really hidden. They're actually marked on the map as power cubes. I think they originally were supposed to be more important because I saw a very early game screen of X, which had some sort of money counter. I wonder if you were originally supposed to have to spend money for the items that you pick up at supply bases. And once again, you probably have to hit one of those things with a missile, which is much easier said than done. Anyway. Let's pick up some more fuel on our way to the end. This last part is, of course, not very difficult. And there, now we have decent supplies again. Oh yeah, there was another reason that I decided to go for one of those offensive gliders, which is I wanted to see how exactly it was counted at the end of the mission, because I hadn't tried that before. And there's the plot important silo again. Although, you know, power plants tend to be pretty important no matter what the setting is, so I can't really blame them. Turns out, no, only the thief gliders are the ones that count towards big stars. Uh-oh. Now, Stone of Triumph mentioned EDF when watching the video involving the giant mutated insects, and look what we got here. Yes. Well, I guess we've got a true EDF situation, don't we? All we need are the panicked civilians. Also, there's something this briefing does not mention, which the Japanese briefing does, which is more important than usual. The Japanese briefing tells you to destroy them with missiles. That is an important detail, because if you shoot them with lasers, instead of just destroying them, they will instead just hatch early, and we don't want that. Anyway, because of this, we want our lock on. And this is, I think, the first mission where we get a real pinch for time. That is why I'm going to make liberal use of the turbo function on this thing. Now, if I was going to be really serious about it, I would memorize the chrysalis locations, like all of them, and I'd be able to kill, if not all of them, then probably almost all of them. I think there's just enough time for that. Oh, there's one of the larvas. The larvas, as far as I can tell, are not that important. They are damage spongy and they drop fuel, but that's about it. Obviously don't let one bump into you, but that's not too hard. Kaboom! Also, you'll notice I'm not in Area 1 right now. That was my mistake. If I had realized that a little sooner, I could have just headed back over there right away instead of stopping by here, but, you know, picking up a missile restock, not a bad idea. Why didn't I pick up the shield? Also, why am I heading north? Oh, right, now I know. It's because of the tunnels. They'll plot me right in the middle of Area 1, where I am most likely to be able to get an arrow towards the next chrysalis. However, I spent a lot of time doing all this. I wouldn't call this an optimal route by any means. Oh, I should mention, there's 5 chrysalis enemies at the start of this mission. I never get tired of this music. Well, I probably could if I listened to it enough, but over the course of a game, I do not get tired of it. Oh, for the reasons that I mentioned before, there's not a whole lot of footage of Escape, and definitely not a full playthrough as far as I could tell. There's a couple of reviews of it, and a couple of small bits of gameplay. A few things I noticed are, there's shooting available in tunnels, although it's more like dealing with obstacles than enemies in there. There's also a lot more planet exploration, and travel between planets. But I don't know all of the details because, as I said, details are pretty sparse right now. Here we go. I kinda like the way this mission handles the timer. There's very little to work with, and this really tests your ability to maneuver along the surface of the planet. It's not critical to beat the timer, you can still complete the mission afterwards, it's just there are more annoying targets to deal with. But you are rewarded for doing it well, I should say. And this was honestly luck. I didn't really know where the next chrysalis was. But as you can see, it's a little bit of a guess as whether I'll get there in time. And done. No way am I going to reach a 4th one, but still, getting rid of more than half of them is pretty nice. Still, what do we do next, exactly? Well, let's see if we can get ourselves a clue from the radio station and supply base. Area 5, huh? Sorry about the noise. Now, one thing that's important to remember about those butterflies is they are aerial targets, and another important thing is that they are agile. That's why I decided to choose the jetpack over the bomb. Now, they mentioned Area 5, so it seems worthwhile to take a look around here. That's what it seems. But the truth is, they left Area 5 pretty soon after I went into the supply station. And also, why is that supply base blinking? That seems like it would be a good thing to investigate. So let's head west. Let's head northwest. We'll take the central junction, and that way we only need to travel through one tunnel to get there. Oh, yep. that doesn't sound good. I think this is the first time I used a central junction for transport. I should probably do that more often, both to and from. Okay, that was pretty decent placement right there. I notice how the more important enemies tend to have their own sound effect. Like the humanoid tanks, they have their own walking sound, and the butterflies have this wing flapping sound. Oh, yep, it's attacking our supply station. That kind of mission. And there it goes, unfortunately. So we're not going to get an 8-star bonus for saving all of them. Also, those things are not easy targets. Especially because on occasion they will just start looping around, and they're pretty tough to track it when they do that. And much like the gliders, the butterflies are a fair bit easier to shoot when you got some distance on them. And that's it for now. So, what tricks are they going to pull next time? Oh, just you wait. I guarantee it'll be interesting. See you then.